Hey Legends, we've got some questions to answer, we've got some teams to go through, and just want to touch on a couple of guys that we missed. Jacob Arlick is a little bit too expensive for my liking, unfortunately. Just at, obviously a really, really big score. Coming off the bench now, I think he needs to, I don't think he'll get the minutes that you are hoping for. And yes, he'll be likely in there with Tino being out, but, his brother could come in, Isaac. Could come straight into that bench. They could change a few things around. So it's a little bit scary there. Similar to that of Jesse Colquhoun. Obviously, there's some worries on, does Wade Gray come back in and take his spot? Does he just move back to the bench and play some limited minutes? There's no real clear idea of what these guys are going to be able to score or even, their spot in the team. But Jesse's a lot cheaper. And that's why we're looking at right to the bottom there. So you're not wasting any of that extra cash to be able to go to a gun like Cleary or Fafita or Grant or something like that, or Payne Haas, whatever you want to do on that one. So that's Jacob Arlick there. Did forget to mention two other players in Dylan Edwards and also Sean Bloor. And sorry, guys, that did mention it. Some of them I do forget, considering I've got a lot of players up there, and I'm like, oh, which one? Who else is the relevant ones? But Dylan Edwards should be able to score a fair bit better. Didn't get to go through. It was 11 games of him scoring really well. And then he had a little bit, he's fallen off the cliff a little bit. And that does coincide with Cleary being out. So, does that mean that he goes back to those scores? Potentially. He also hasn't scored this high before in his career. So is 11 games enough of a sample size? Potentially. But up to you. If you own him, I think is a clear hold. Should you buy him? I'm not sure on that one. And then the Shawnee Bloor one, if you own him still, he's starting at lock. I forgot to mention him in the team list Tuesday. But he is a hold, clearly. Should be able to get a few extra minutes. If he actually does start in the lock role, he may also just revert back to the bench, which they seem to do pretty regularly there. So that's the thoughts on that, and thanks for asking me in the comments, guys, on those players. Thoughts on getting rid of Hopgood, Simpkin, and he still has Lockie Ilias, which is interesting. So yes, Fafita, Garrick, Skelton. I wouldn't get rid of Hopgood. I think there's another player you can go, or maybe only get one of Fafita, Garrick, and then just work on that next week, because I don't think that Hopgood to Fafita is a decent, small upgrade, like a 5 or so point upgrade, but I don't know if it's enough to be able to justify it, basically. So up to you on that one. Hope you see this video. What do you think about the Hammer as a buy this week? Yes, he's on the buy, which gives you a chance to loop, but he's saying that will he stay at center or will he go back to his better scoring position? Hammer is not a mid-range guy you want to buy at the moment. He's not going to be a keeper. He'll just be in there as an awkward price guy that's maybe could score for you on a weekly basis, but unlikely to as well. I'd say Osako would be a better buy next week, just because he's dropped a fair bit of price and he has been scoring better all year, and they have a nice run coming up. So up to you on that one. Not super keen on that. Do we wait on Cleary until next week because his break even is so high? So at this point in the season, my man Zachary, if you are finding it tough to get to him, then sure, wait that 1 week. But he's playing the Dogs this week, and you want to get good scoring rather than saving that little bit of cash at this point of the year. If this was later on, if this is earlier in the year, then you could definitely do it. But at the moment, I think points first before waiting for a break even, because he could hit that break even. You know what I mean? You could get a 70 odd and lose 10, 20k. You could get a 60 and lose 30 or 40, and sure, but you want that upside. And you want that captain, basically, is how I'm looking at it. Hey, Jamie, thoughts on trading Tohu plus Buller to Cleary and Skelton this week? It's okay. Buller, I think, can score really well this week. I think Tohu is going to go back to some good scoring as well. So the 11 trades does help you with that. I think, in my opinion, you have plenty of mids. You have Payne Haas, which is obviously helpful. So maybe that helps out your squad and your balance with no cover until next week when Lem is back and I move Marnie to wing fullback. Okay. Yeah, so that could definitely work. If there's no other mid-range guy like a Buller that you can move on, and there's no other high-level scorer like Tohu, then I understand getting Cleary just because you have the cover. Obviously not until next week. You don't for wing fullback, but that's fine. Have Robson, Sorensen, IPAP. Thinking of trading two of them to get Cleary. Any thoughts? Also have Preston. Oh wow, okay. Robson, Sorensen, IPAP, Preston. So a lot of just under the top tier scorers. So maybe for you it is Sorensen, and if you already have Grant, maybe Robson. Or I'm happy if you move on one of IPAP and Preston just to get Cleary. I think that's fine. If there were any top tier guys, then I wouldn't do it for sure. Great tips, thank you. Trying to stack my team now for a head-to-head finals wrapping up in round 24. Do you have thoughts on Stephen Crichton? 549k, last two scores. So when he has Cleary with him, he doesn't kick goals, so that's something to think about and something to note. I think he'll score solid. He's been he seems to be around that price all year. So if you think he can go on a bit of a run, then sweet, but just be aware that there's a good chance he just hits a 40 average and is just average, basically. Need to send it this week, chance to Timokal, or use 2 trades to downgrade 1 player and grab Garrick, leaving me with 100k in the bank and 3 trades. Nah, I think just the 1 trade. I understand it's not going to be as good as having Garrick, but Timokal can go on a bit of a run, and 3 trades left after that. If you did the 2, would not be a good position, in my opinion. T-Bang, a nice mate, been learning a few. He's just started playing Supercoach as well. Yes, this is actually an interesting question. Can I say I come here thinking Moses to Cleary in Supercoach, but not in fantasy? I've had thought about it in fantasy, but he doesn't score that much more than Moses in fantasy. The difference is the kick meters. So, Moses gets plenty of good kick meters. He runs the ball plenty and gets a lot of those attacking stats as well. So big run meter numbers and stuff like that. Whereas in Supercoach, it's just the amount of try assist as well that really play a part. And Cleary's like a 15 to 20 point better player when he's fit, compared to in fantasy he's like 10-ish kind of better player. So and in Supercoach you can go more boom and get more of like 140, 150, and then Moses could get a 70, and there's an 80 point difference. Whereas here a boom game could be like 100 to a 60. It's 40, and it's like, okay, it's a little bit more manageable. So that would be why the theory is there. Hey, love the buy, hold, sell videos. Thank you. Who do I trade out to get Cleary between IPAP and Maddo? So IPAP has no buys left, so that's something to think of there. And then Maddo, if you have multiple, like if you have 3 or 4 Eels players, then maybe Maddo's the trade out in this one. But I think both those guys will score solidly for the rest of the year. Okay, last one, AJ highlights down here. CNK and Simpkin to Murray and Skelton. Anyone thoughts and appreciated? 5 trades left after those 2. I think that's really solid, man. I'd lock it in. No worries on that one. I'll get the Discord code in there in a second, AJ. Sorry about that. All right, so let's get into some of these teams, hey? So we got plenty going on. Let's reduce this one down. Let's get rid of it. Beautiful. Let's go into one of 6 teams here. We'll get through them fairly quickly, I think, on this one. All right, Revillo's Raptors. So what we're dealing with here is a team at 1100th overall, which is nice. Love that. 3 trades left after the 3 this week. So he's got VT Dub to Colquhoun, Boyd to Garrick, Robson to Fafita. Okay, that's pretty solid, man. Leaves no hooker cover, but both are pretty average compared to Harry. Okay, well maybe yeah, it's not great, but maybe one of those 3 trades has to be for cover if Grant misses. Leave me with 17 guns if you want to count Maddo and Preston. Yeah. And then the emergencies are pretty solid. Like you got Piakura, Ramian, and Smith, who should likely play the rest of the year. So that's the good signs there. So no cover in the hooking position, but good cover in everywhere else, which is exactly what you want to be looking for with this type of team. If you are running out of trades and down to 3, you want cover across the board. Obviously, no hooker cover for Grant. Thankfully for him, you know that if he's fit, you're going to be playing him every week. It's not like he can go off a cliff and really struggle. So I think this team will do well. It's just going to be that 3 trades left, and then if Grant goes down, for 1 week, you're going to have to sideways trade someone just to get a player. Obviously, there's guys like Brennan Hands and Harrison Graham that could be a trade in. So I think it's fine. You can get away with it for sure. So nice work on that squad there. Let's get the 5th team up. Hi, Jamie. Following your advice has got me to this great position. Thank you. Sitting at 325 overall, but I need a little bit more for the run home. Of course, man. Always here to help. King Ralph, 6 trades remaining, not the worst position. I have a good squad, but would like to get either Haas or Yo in this week, I was thinking. Okay, what's the clear obsession with getting a mid this week? Not an obsession, but you get what I mean. Considering you have the 3 Horsburghs, Hopgood, DeBellin, Madison, and Tohu Harris in there for that mid position. You've got Lemuelu who can cover center and edge. So is that there? Maddo and Boyd, Haas, Yo, and Luke. Is that Sonny Luke? I hope not. I personally wouldn't be trading any of your mids. I can see, Horsburgh and DeBellin averaging a similar amount, probably a little bit under like a Haas. I'd only be going to Payne Haas there, and he does have a buy coming up. So are you going to get more out of a guy like Horsburgh, DeBellin, Tohu Harris? Is he can average a 55 or so? Yes, he has a buy as well, but all these other guys, they're probably going to score similar over the run because Payne Haas misses a game. So I personally wouldn't make the trades to get a mid this week, but completely up to you, and I understand that. If you did trade Boyd out, then you do not have the hooker cover either. So, yeah, you'd have Sonny Luke, as you said there. I believe that's Sonny Luke you're talking about, but you don't really want to play Sonny Luke. So I just think it's probably not worth it, to be honest. Give you enough bank to do Moses to Cleary next week. Not super excited of Moses to Cleary. I can see why you would do it if you had lots of Eels players, which you do. So maybe that's the play, and that's why you do that play. But then Cleary could get rested, is what people are thinking there. Yeah, like, sure. Yeah, I don't know. The power thing could work because you're trading out Maddo this week as well to get Haas, because it fixes up round 27. So there is a lot to think about. I understand why you're a bit confused, because it's there's so many options here, and are any of them the best? I'm not sure. So go with your gut, I think, on this one, because I'm not going to push you in any direct way just because you have those 4 eels, and setting up now could help you later on, especially if Tyrone Munro doesn't come back. There's another player you don't have, so a few things to think about with that team. But thank you for checking in. Smells like a meat pie. Coming to 1,075th. Not the best ranking last week at 10,500, but solid overall. 4 trades remain. And here we got, hi Jamie, could be a short video because I only have 4 trades. I won't bore you with how I got here and what wrong decisions I made. Luke being a cash down. I'd like a looper, but not sure I have the luxury of trades to make that happen. My issue is when to get the Eels players out. Saving 3 trades just to use them in round 27 to get players that will score similar seems like a bad use of trades. You definitely will not have 3 trades left coming into round 27, I can promise you that. But seems my only option, so I can be ready for any injury suspensions before then. Thanks for your help this season. So you're looking at this squad right now. Let's look at the 13, and it all looks really solid. You've got Garrick in there in the wing fullback position, which is awesome. Top 17 looks really strong. You've got Boydie down in your emergency 7, which is great. You've got Seb Chris and Sloan to cover centre and wing fullback. Awesome. Sonny Luke to cover hooker, which is obviously not ideal. And you want Grant there the whole time. I think with this type of team, with 4 trades remaining, I don't think it's worth going for Cleary. So that's something there. I personally would hold trades this week. You have the full 21, full complement there. Next week, you have Torhul Harris out, and that's it. So really, I think the next couple of weeks, you could probably get away with not trading, and then you could make a decision on your Eels players from there. So that's this team at the moment. Good stuff at the moment. Good stuff with where you're at right now. All right. Hey, Jamie. Boy's my brain stuck this week. Yeah, it's a bit that way sometimes. I've battled my way from a rank of 32,000 to get to this team. Wow, 3,000 overall. Good stuff. Screwed up getting Garlic instead of Graham last week. Damn it. Yeah, that little bit cheaper gets everyone, doesn't he? And couldn't reverse after 12 beers deep, and huge loss in our footy fund. Sorry to hear about your loss, mate. Hope you had a fun night anyway. Trades this week are Tohu out for potentially Murray. I don't really like it. For obvious reasons. Tohu out hit 60 and 63 the last couple of weeks. Alternatively, I could trade out Val Tafade to Akashi, would leave me with 3 of them, and then go Tohu to Cleary. I don't like having the 2 cash outs, the clear cash outs in Garlic and whoever you bring in. Go Tohu to Cleary. I get that, but you do have Moses, Johnson, Hines. It's a really, really strong half pairing there. Half trio, anyway. 6 trades to go. You could make the couple, but then, do you want to be able to push in the next few weeks? Do you want to be able to push in the last couple of weeks? You do have Moses, you have Hopgood there. So you're not overloaded on the Eels, which is nice. No Brendan Hands. It helps with the overload there. I think it's fine, man. And last option of Val Tafari to a mid-ranger like Penasini or Cotter. They're all okay at best, to be honest with you. So it could just be a clear hold this week. You do have the 142k, which is nice. You have Garrick, you have Tungo. You're really set in the centres and wing fullbacks. You're pretty well set up top as well in the mid. So it could just be a holding week for you and make your moves later rather than making your moves now, because the team's really good. You got Payne Haas. You got the good centres, as I said, really set up well. A total meow and save trades for injuries, buys, and suspensions. Thoughts our saviour. Thank you. I think hold this week, man, and then make your decision from there would be the best way, in my opinion. All right, squad here. We're sitting at 1586 overall. 908 is our round 21 rank. 7 trades remaining, which is good. He's got his little setup here. All of the rounds have been really improving since round 2, so good stuff. All the way into that top 2,000 over the last few weeks, especially. Need help with trades. No idea on what trades to make. I feel I really have a really good squad. Yeah, most of us do at this point. It's kind of just making those small upgrades, which is cool. Players I do want are Cleary, House, Garrick, and maybe Bateman and Tungo. Yeah, we all want them. Do I save trades and see how Buller and IPAP go? I definitely would try and do that. You obviously don't have anyone on a bye this week, which sucks because you can't really loop Buller, and that's what I want to be doing, putting him in number 5. But you have so many good options here, man. Like, awesome work. You obviously got a really good team value, which is great. In round 2, I was ranked 57,000. Yeah, so good, man. Yeah, this week you've set up really good. Wait for an injury or suspension next week, and then launch that trade. Maybe it's an injury to a top guy, and you can go, do a double trade, upgrade, downgrade. But if you hold trades this week, you'll have 7 with 6 rounds to go, and I think you can really push easily into that top 1,000. So that would be my theory here. And then we have a really top team to finish things off at 33 rank, which is amazing. Amazing work, beating me at the moment. Go the Warriors. Second year playing and doing great, thanks to yours and Scoop's help. Appreciate that. Good stuff. Thank you for reaching out and watching. I made one trade this week, which is Talakai to Teddy. Yeah, good trade. Yeah, straight up good trade. As Garrett got DPP and wanting to save money for Cleary. That works so well for you guys. I'm so jealous, to be honest. Would you say Edwards or Teddy a better option at wing fullback? I think either one will go well. I think they can both average about 50 for the year. So yeah, Edwards is a fair bit cheaper. It's up to you if that allows you that Edwards trade in to make it a better trade elsewhere, a better upgrade elsewhere. Maybe that's Nelson that you can upgrade. Maybe that's Val you can upgrade there. You could make that decision on how you want to do that. Or would you say Haas is more of an important buy than Cleary? So I was thinking of Boyd Harris and Nas to Cleary in a max 365 person this week or next. Thoughts? You could definitely launch if you want and do the 3 trades. Would get you to 5. I think that would be fine if you want to do that. Pretty low on cover and pretty close to final team with trades remaining. Thanks for your help. Yeah, you could do the 1 this week, would be sweet. You could do the second one as well if you went Edwards down, and then you could upgrade Nelson, or you can upgrade someone like that to Haas. Likely, I'd say, if you went Edwards, would that be right? You'd be getting close to it. So yeah, that's the option. Or then go the third and get Cleary as well. Either of those are going to work out well. Just go through your squad and see who you'd like to have in there more, basically, would be how I'd finish this one off. So thank you guys for watching this one, for getting all the strategy type questions and going through some teams. That was a lot of fun. And we will see the trades video. We'll be later this afternoon. Got a few things to do today. So we'll get these ones out early, have a little further think of my trades and what we're doing in the people squad, and we'll get back to you on that one. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next one.